Finally, I'm here. Oh gosh, Jesus Christ. Hello. I am so sorry, guys. I am so sorry. I'm telling you, woo, I need some new technology here. I'll tell you, I need some new technology here. And I don't blame the person that was here that left. Here it is. I was supposed to go on at 7:15. It is 7:34. But I'm going to go ahead and wait a couple of minutes and see if I can get you guys in here. We are definitely going to be talking about, welcome. I'm back, guys. I've been, doing a little something. So I hope that you guys have been able to see the things that I've been putting out and all that kind of stuff. Now that I have more flexibility, I am, trying to get back on track and all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited about that. And tonight is no different, guys. I want to talk about the commitment of taking sister lock clients under the age of 18 and what a lot of people don't talk about, right? And I think a lot of people probably don't talk about it because they probably don't deal with clients. Most of their clients are probably over 18 years old. But what happens when you do get that client that is under 18 years old? And I think a lot of times people don't talk about it because it's just not that many of them. And it's not like I have a lot, but I do have some. And there was a process that goes along with that, guys. Okay, there was a process. So I'm gonna go ahead and just try to wait a little bit to see if I can get a few people in here. And if you do come on in, say hi, in the chat and all that kind of stuff. Make sure you thumbs up the video and all that good stuff, guys. Okay, because we're trying to keep things rolling now. I'm trying to get back into the grind of things. All right, so let me just look at a couple of things here. I want to just get to make sure I put down, and this is going to be beneficial on the loctician side of things, people who do sister locks. And I was about to say even probably for micro locks, but then again, or other type of locks. But I think that in terms of the locks, what sets sister locks apart from the other ones is just that the time that it's going to take, because sister locks will take more time to do and all of that kind of stuff. So it requires a certain amount of patience to deal with getting your hair done. First of all, the establishment, the couple of days that it will take to do that. I would say the time that you would have to come in between getting your retightenings is not that bad, but if you are a teenager, someone that is under 18, there is things that you will have to deal with that you would not ordinarily think of because you're mostly dealing with adults. So I just want to put this out there for the loctician, the parents too, as well as the teenager or child that is deciding to get these sister locks. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you also about a story time that I have. Usually, guys, I come up here on Sundays. That's mainly when everybody's mostly available. I know this is Thursday and people, this is still like a work day and stuff like that. Maybe some people are settling in after work or whatever. And if you do catch this, make sure if you don't get to catch it now, just go ahead and do it in the replay. But I definitely want you guys to really watch this because this is going to be some stuff, especially my locticians, my people out here who are doing locks. Make sure you pay attention to this, okay? So now, with all of the things that I'm going to talk about today, there is like no negativity like associated with it. I am not like trying to put it down like none of the kids, because their parents, some of them probably watched this, and we have talked about it kind of in the lighthearted way as well. So, and then some of them, I'm so proud of them now too, because they've grown up and they're just being so mature now. I kind of look at them like, my little nieces now that have grown up through it. But I just want people to understand what's involved, but also on the other side, you let the child know what's involved, like the teenager or whatever have you. Okay. So let's just go ahead and get started. Whoever's is supposed to come in will just come in. If you're here, say, hey, thumbs up the video. At least if you're here, help, come on and support the channel so I can continue to support you guys too. So, the commitment that I think that a lot of people don't think about when they decide to go ahead and have their daughters get sister locks or their nieces, or to refer someone to get this done. I don't think that they understand like the impact that it may have on the child. And I will say, let's talk about, for one, the number one thing is patience. Okay, you have to understand that that child is going to have patience, like patience with the whole establishment of getting them done. And even when they come and get their hair done, the time that it takes to actually even do the right retightening. Now, even though it's not going to take as long as to do, of course, the establishment and all that, that can take from anywhere from 1 to 3 days, depending on how much hair they have, what's going on in their hair, and just all of that stuff, the length of their hair, all of that kind of stuff that they'll have to consider. And that's going to be hard enough in itself, or like I would just say challenging, because even for adults, that's challenging. You got to really set your mind that, okay, I got to sit here for hours and get this done. But when they're coming to get their retighteners and stuff like that, it can be a little bit difficult for them too. They face a lot of different things. Like, you have to consider if they're into sports. Like, two of my clients, as their mom, if they're watching this, they're sporty girls. They do a lot of sports. They do a lot of things. And just as teenagers, you're out there, you're hanging with your friends, you're trying to get your little jobs to put little coins in your pockets. And then also, if you're like these families and the ones that I have, they are into a lot of sports. So even if they have those moments and those times where they're coming to you and they have some time off, they're tired. Okay. A lot of times when they finally sit down and they're getting their hair done, especially if you're in kind of like a place like mine, which is very nice and peaceful and quiet and chill, I go ahead and put on some movies, different things, let them do their things. And when they're in a relaxing setting, guess what they're going to do? They gonna fall asleep and they just gonna be all over the place. And then a lot of times, like locticians, like you will have to get used to the fact that you're gonna be dealing with a client that might be sleeping like for like hours, like up and down. Often their head's gonna be moving different places, and you gonna be like having to, get them to move this and that, all that other kind of stuff. But this is a lot of times you won't like even think about that. Even with adults, even if they fall asleep, they're more controlled. It's more kind of like, oh, they might get back up. It's a lot more controlled than like a younger person, because sometimes when they go out to sleep, they sleeping, honey. They gone. Okay, so you might not think about that, but that is something that actually does happen a lot of times. Also too, with teenagers that are the ones under 18, is a lot of times they may not keep up like with their locks, like how usually they're supposed to, like, meaning like maybe they won't wear their bonnets all the time. So you might see that they may have accumulated lint or different things or whatever in their hair, or they may not understand about once you washing. And then that's the thing too, like making sure like every 2 weeks you're on your washing thing, all that kind of stuff, and then separating. A lot of times, and even with some adults too, they even forget to do like the separating stuff and all of that kind of stuff. So what happens is once you wash it and then you don't separate all the locks like that, and even I'm guilty of that too, because sometimes I find myself like, you're gonna get the locks marrying each other, and then guess what? It takes longer with your retighteners, and it actually snap, crackles, and pops, and it might hurt a little bit more too when you're actually going through your locks. So you have to consider that that's going to take up time, and it's actually may actually hurt a little bit more because your locks are marrying, especially once you've washed them and they're not. It's just like detangling. Like think of it as if you have loose natural hair that you have to detangle. So the locks are the same way, where it's kind of like you do have to kind of just and especially while it's wet and it's more manageable, that's going to be your best time to go in, separate your locks, and detangle. Okay, my young teenagers, that's what you're going to have to remember if you see this. So, moms and stuff, have them sit right here and watch this. Make sure you're wearing your bonnets because that is going to help you to keep your locks nice and neat and without a lot of lint, especially if you're playing sports and all that. You're outside, you're kicking up dust. If you're doing what is that, football or whatever out in the sun, a lot of stuff accumulate and collects on your hair. Another thing that a lot of the teenagers do is put products in their hair. And I have a story time with that one. So I will be staying for my story time because it can, so aside from that, it can even get more serious. And I'm going to leave that to the end when I tell my story time because this is where it could get like serious. Okay. So products. Okay. So some of them will put products in their hair. They'll put gel in their hair. They'll put colors in their locks. And then, of course, the more products and things that you put in your locks, the more stuff that is going to be attracted to your locks. So when you're dealing with younger people, 9 times out of 10, now sometimes everybody is not like that because you do have like, because actually a couple of my young clients, their locks actually are pretty nice. They don't really have like a lot of stuff like up in their lint. And it's probably due to two, if that child has a parent that also have locks, which in my case, both of the ones that I do, their parents actually do have it. So in that case, they're lucky in the sense that they're watching what their parents are doing. Their parents are kind of staying behind them, making sure that they're keeping up, their end of the bargain when it comes to that, because sister locks is costly. And if you do have a couple of people in the home that are coming getting it done, that can be costly for your family. So you want to make sure that you're getting your money's worth and that you're keeping up with your locks. Okay. So that's another thing that they do that they don't understand. They're not supposed to be just putting stuff like that. And especially if you are new in the lock game, you're in the process of getting your locks, they're established and they're processing to lock. You can't just put all that kind of stuff because that's going to just lock right on with the process. Okay. So you need to make sure you remember that and then make sure you're washing at least every 2 weeks. Okay. Make sure you're doing that until you get locked. And then the more water, like, so say if you're doing your showers or you're doing sports and you're sweating and all that kind of stuff, because a lot of my young girlies be sweating and all that kind of stuff. One thing that I do tell them is to make sure that you're getting those makeup sponges and then you're using your witch hazel and all that kind of stuff. And instead of washing and like doing all that kind of stuff, you need to just take that and clean up your scalp and stuff like that. When you get like the salt and all the sweat and all that kind of stuff, make sure you're doing that as opposed to constantly wetting, because guess what's going to happen? Your locks are going to start to unravel, and especially in the front. I have seen this also with some of my younger clients. Some of their locks literally in the front, it's like out. Like I have actually had to go in and replace locks inside of their locks. There's been spaces where it's just been like kind of broken off, or just patches where I actually may have needed to create. And this are not just for like the ones I have now, because I do have a good like kind of grip on, like, we're in a really, really good space for the ones that I have right now. I got 3 girls right now and they're doing fabulous right now. They're doing really, really great. But in the beginning, these are some of the things that, was happening and going on that we definitely got together. But I'm talking about others that came in, because you will get recommendations that come in. So there has been other clients that have come in that was younger, that I'm telling you, you can really, really get anything. And when you're not taking care of your locks properly, like you should, there will be a lot of damage in the lock. And then it comes to the point where it's not a retightening, it's actually a repair and retightening. And I think sometimes a lot of parents don't understand that. And it's so much more work that you have to do. And it actually costs more because you're doing more than a retightening. It's not just a retightening at this point. Like it's actually actual repair that you have to do on this client. And then you're going to get some resistance sometimes with parents because sometimes they do not want to pay that extra money. And then sometimes you'll get where they may be far off. Like, so say if they're dealing with a loctician that only deals with them every 8 weeks or something like that, or for whatever reason, they are not able to get their appointment or whatever that is. When you're dealing with that, anytime you're dealing with that, sometimes they will know that and won't share that with you because they just want it done so bad. Because the longer they wait, the longer out that their kid's hair is not done or whatever have you, and they really don't want you to say no, that you can't do it, or you're going to charge them all this extra money. So sometimes it's a little tricky trick that they kind of play sometimes when they already know what's going on. But this is going to be your cue, and this is a tip I'm going to put in here right now is if you're dealing with someone that has gone past that time period, because sister lock is from 4 to 8 weeks. So if you deal with anyone that tells you anything past that 8 weeks, then you need a hair consultation, okay? Because you need to see in person what you are dealing with, or you need to have them send you pictures on the phone and have them open up the hair, look at the scalp, clear pictures so that you can see exactly what you are dealing with. Because I have made the mistake of not doing that in the beginning and then saying yes to something, especially quoting a price because I'm thinking a regular retightening when nothing could be further from the truth. So make sure you do that. Okay. So I have started even with even regular retighteners or whatever. If I don't know that client, haven't dealt with them, a hair consultation is required. You can either charge for that or not. Okay, that's going to be up to the individual. Okay, so what else? Um, so um, let me see. Now, those are a few things, a lot of things from the kids' side, what will go on, and some of them will kind of, it just depends on what they're used to. And like as far as relaxation too, how they want to be comfortable while you're here. Depending if you're at home or in a salon, that's going to be different because salons may have all their stuff set up, whatever. Sometimes people have their stuff set up at their house too. But if you really don't have like this really good setup, your chair is super comfortable, that will make a difference for some people. Now, in terms of parents, this is what I want you parents pay attention to. Parents, listen. That is also going to be a responsibility on you when you decide to go ahead and get your child the sister locks. Now, of course, you already know to do your research and you're going to already know what the price point is. Other than that, you wouldn't decide to do that. But another thing that you should think about and that locticians also need to think about is the fact that when a parent has a younger person with them, they're going to want to stay and sit like some people, and rightfully so, because if you have a 13 to 15 or even 16 or 17-year-old, anyone under 18 years old, that parent, and especially if they don't know someone and you're doing it out of your home, like somebody like me, most of those parents are going to want to sit there with their child. And then this is what you're going to come up against. Sister locks, you sign a form with sister locks that you will not show sister lock techniques. So now, if you have done this over time, here is a parent sitting here and they're like talking to you, this and that. They watching what you do, they're watching, your tools, they're seeing everything. Not that they're trying to learn how to do sister locks or whatever have you, like they trying to do something sneaky or whatever. That's not it. But the point is that you signed a actual form that you can get sued over showing someone the technique, for someone to actually be there to see what you are doing with sister locks. So that is another thing that you are going to have to as a sister lock person, you're going to have to make that decision whether you want to take this person under 18 years old if that parent requires is like we're going to be here with her child. So that's something you have to decide if you want to do, and that is something and I'm telling you, and a lot of people, I know I would, I'm not gonna lie, if I had a child that was that young and I didn't know who this person was at all, I probably would come in there and sit with my child. I'm not gonna lie. But so that's something that you have to figure out to feel like, okay, am I going to do this? Do I want to trust this situation or whatever? Okay. So that's another thing you have to worry about. And then the onus is going to be on the parent to make sure that that child is taking care of their locks, like making sure that they're washing their hair on time, making sure that they're wearing their bonnets, making sure that they're taking care of their locks, and just kind of looking at them, seeing what's going on. That way, if something's happening, they can relay that to the loctician as well. So there's actually responsibility for the parent too with that. Okay. So just know it's not just on the loctician side, on the little young little sister lock little girlies, but also the parent themselves. So this is going to be something that everybody has a little role to play with, all with just deciding to deal with someone under 18 years old. Okay. And so now with this, I'll go into my story time because my computer has been acting funny and weird in my memory. So I'm just going to try to go ahead and get this out the way before something happens and I don't get it out. Okay, so story time. So this is a little bit more serious, but at the same time, not to say it in a bad way, but this is another thing that can actually happen and come across when you are dealing with a younger client. So, case in point, one story time, and this is the first time that it ever happened to me. The client was like maybe 14 or 15 or something like that, and she came to get her hair done, and her hair was in a way where I knew that it was going to take a lot of work to get it done. She was one of my clients that put gel in her hair. There was like some colored paste that she had in her hair, and it took a while, and there was a lot of things that need to be corrected. So basically it was, there were locks that were out that I had to actually go in and do whatever. Now I would say honestly, let me I told the parent, let me she told me what was going, kind of like what was happening, how long she was out, but not like the full details. I didn't really understand how much stuff needed to be done in her hair until I actually saw the child. And I wish that I had, usually I would have asked for a consultation or pictures or whatever, but me, I did not do that myself. And this is the reason how come I'm telling you guys, if you come across this, make sure you take pictures or do a consultation. So when the girl actually came and she told me about some color stuff, but I really didn't know until she actually got in front of me, until I seen just how much color and everything. And I was like, let me wash it, because I know that I needed to be able to get all of that stuff out of her hair before that I can even start the process of getting her hair done. But it wasn't until I really went in and dissected and looked out through her hair that I seen how much work that it was going to take, and how much damage that was done to the locks in terms of locks that I had to actually replace in the middle. There was like pieces that was broken off and all of that kind of stuff. But this was a 14-15 year old teenager. So when you get this type of hairstyle, so what I'm saying is it took like this took a long time. So this was difficult for someone. Greeting, hey Carolyn, hi, greetings, hey, good to see you, Carolyn. Oh my God, it seemed like, thanks for the thumbs up, girl. It seemed like it's been forever, huh, girl? How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing. Listen, child. Some things happen, but I feel like things happen for a reason. My time has been freed up again, and I wanted to kind of do like a video on that, when because you guys know that I had like been waiting 5 years for this job that I got, and then I left. I left the job, but It was, and I want to talk about that in a whole nother like live or whatever, but in a way of like a I'm just like in a way of like more of a positive kind of sense, and not like delving in like negatively about it, because I don't view it like that. Like, it's not, I don't view it like the way that it happened. It's more of knowing me and what I want and need and what I accept in my life and what I don't. And then making those hard decisions, even though you waited for something and you thought things were going to happen a certain way, but then it didn't. So kind of more not like a blaming thing, but just a thing about, kind of helping everyone, all of us at this season. Yeah, I'm happy I'm back too. I am. Listen, let me tell you, girl, I've been trying to put little stuff in here. So, and I hope people been seeing it. So it's really just a matter of me having the time. So I am happy to be back, girl. I miss my family. I miss the lock styles. I'm telling you, I hate that the momentum, but I'm gonna be. But now that the flexibility is here, you know what I'm saying? I'll be still trying to get a little part-time situation going on. But for now, I'm still here. So what I'm talking about is, it's so funny because I was just talking about how when you accept teenagers, like anybody under 18 as a client, and it's so funny because a lot of people don't even talk about, like none of us talk about it. And I don't even know. I'm trying to think. I don't even know if I know other locticians that have like younger clients, but you have to have had. I mean, I'm thinking like if you're in this game for a while, because there are children, teenagers, and whatever that actually have the sisterlock hairstyle. But I don't think people ever talk about the challenges that come along with actually having younger clients. So people don't, I don't think a lot of people think about that, because the loctician, the parent, and the child, it affects all of us. You know what I mean? So, and that means with, and then if you just jumped in, and I was just talking about how patience come into play, how, a lot of times these young kids, they don't have that patience to just be sitting like that, like for 3 hours and 4 hours and all that kind of stuff. That is a lot for an energetic young teenager to just sit like that. So, they move around, it's like they fall asleep a lot, you know what I mean? So there is a lot of them, like I was saying, mine, although they're like my sweet, like teenage, like kind of nieces now, and we've come a long way, but they play sports. A lot of them play a lot of sports and all kind of things, and they trying to get their little jobs and get their money in their pocket, all this other kind of stuff. So by the time they come in a relaxing environment, because in my house is very relaxing and chill, they get to watch their little movies or whatever. They falling asleep. So they like the bobblehead, they all over the place. So you leaning over, you trying to get it. And so a lot of people don't think about that. You know what I'm saying? But it's just all kinds of stuff too with them keeping their hair up, wearing their bonnets. You have to remind younger teenagers like of what to do. Like, do you remember to separate your locks? Do they'll sneak and put stuff in their hair, they'll put gel in their hair, they'll try to put color because they're young. They want to stay hip and cool and colors look pretty. So it's just a lot of different things that I don't think people understand. Like even as their teenager, deciding to get that done, it may be more convenient, which it is, because it is convenient. This hairstyle, and especially when you don't want to deal with all that, and if they're into sports like that. But they actually do pay a price like for this hairstyle and all of that kind of stuff. And we don't want to be spending all our money, right? When if they're not gonna, you're gonna make sure they keep their hair up. And on the parent side, they have that responsibility. They gotta help them keep it up. They gotta pay for it most of the time. So that's more money coming out your pocket. So there's a lot of different kind of things that people have to pay attention to that they probably usually wouldn't. You know what I mean? So it's a lot more. But before you had jumped in, I was talking about my story time of what happened. So you could go back in the back part and see the other stuff I was talking about. But my story time was with like this young girl, 14, 15 years old, and she had her hair, I think she may have been 3 or 4 months, who knows, maybe 5 months out. I'm not sure, but it might have been 3 or 4. But the thing is there was just a lot going on. Like she had everything going on. She had a lot of hair. She had put stuff in her hair. She had put gel. She had put color. She was putting some paste, some type of paste color. So it was like deeply embedded, like some red paste that was deeply embedded in her hair. And then like the front of it, because I guess she played sports, so it was maybe a cheerleader or whatever, she would pull her hair back in a ponytail. So to have to put her hair down, she would put the, the all that kind of stuff. But putting that ponytail too broke off certain areas. So there were broken areas where I had to actually put new locks in, and it was just like a whole thing. So even washing it, I had to wash it like 3 times, like 3 good times before I got all the stuff out of her hair. I had to use different type of shampoos, clarifying shampoos, condition shampoo, like really, really, like it took a lot of work because she had a lot of hair to get that clean and get that stuff out of there. So once I did that, I had to go through, and it was like a repair on top of a retightening. So when people come to you like that, that's not just a retightening, that is a repair, because now you adding in locks, you creating new locks. So now they're baby locks. And guess what? Those new locks that you're creating, they have to start from the beginning. So all of those new locks are starting from the beginning. So you have to actually even still treat that like new locks. So you got to bundle all over again. So they have to remember, or the parent has to let them know, you have to you have to bundle this section. So and if you forget, guess what? The locks are coming back out, and then you got to put them back in. So this whole process, now as we're going along too, a lot of times the kids won't tell you. Like, so say if you have, and I believe this child was tender-headed too, right? So if you don't know that and the child doesn't tell you that, but they're young, they're scared, they don't want to kind of talk to an adult and say, oh, you're hurting my hair or whatever. But a lot of that was due to the fact that it was tangled, none of it was untangled. So I'm going through it trying to get all this stuff like situated, right? So eventually in this situation, the girl, her hair was hurting because of what was going on and me trying to be patient getting this stuff. So in the middle of this, she's got a phone call. So she ends up getting a phone call, and then it was like a not a Zoom, but like a face-to-face call. And then it was a guy on the end. So I'm assuming like, oh, okay, this might, the way they were talking, I'm like, I didn't know who it was, but I'm like, oh, okay, this could be her uncle, her father. I didn't know who it was. But she was talking to them, and then all of a sudden, she must have looked a certain way to the person on the phone, and then they was asking her like, "Hey, so are you okay?" And then so she like didn't say anything, and then I'm just like, I'm still steady going through her hair, and then he's asking her, "Oh, you there getting your hair done, whatever." And then she's still not answering. And he's like, "Well, hey, are you okay?" And then now I'm alarmed because I'm like, why is she answering him or whatever? And then she starts to like cry. And then I'm like, whoa, hold on. He's like, hold on, what's the matter with you? And I'm like, yo, what's going on? And I'm like, hey, but she was like, my hair is hurt, don't hurt, don't hurt. And I'm like, hold up. Wait a minute, wait a minute. You never said anything to me. Like, why didn't you say that? Like, you could have said something to me. Like, I'm like, hold on a second, wait a minute, hold on. Now, in this scenario, like, check this out. In this scenario, you're here with a underage child doing their hair. They getting a video call from their dad, right? So I end up finding out it's the kid's dad. He has no idea who I am. I don't know him, never saw him, just a mom. But hey, so we're back. We're back. The video went crazy for a second. Okay, so that's what. Let me hurry up and get this through because this video, my computer's acting crazy. So, anyways, okay. Okay, okay. So yeah, so let me get this through. So anyway, so she's crying and I'm like, "Hold on, what's going on?" So just look at this situation. You're in there, the underage child in your house. This is the father on the other end. All he sees is his child reacting. She doesn't tell me anything, so I'm not even realizing that she is feeling any kind of way. And now she's like in tears in front of her father with an adult person behind her. Can you imagine how that? I was like, oh no, 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 no. We need to call mom now. Like we need to go. And then he was like, oh, okay, something like, okay, all right, well, just finish up and whatever and stuff like that, and it'll be okay. It'll be okay because she started saying her head's hurting, and I was like, and maybe he saw because my genuine surprise that was like okay, he was like okay with it, but I absolutely was not okay with that, and I was like, oh no, have your grandmother like so the person that was coming to get her, I ended up talking to her on the phone and she's like, oh, how long is it going to take this, that, other? I was like, oh, I was like, oh no, I need to talk to her mom immediately to let her know what happened. And by the time her mom came, she just had told her to run out and meet her because so much time had went by. Right. And so that was a very difficult situation for her as a young girl that took like something like 7, 8 hours almost because it was like a lot to do, right? So, and then for me, just being in a situation like, because if that was, listen, there, everybody don't go for that. Like, you, okay, like especially somebody that they don't know. And me as a parent, if I would have saw something like that, and my daughter was crying, and it was like a lady behind her doing her hair that I didn't know, I would have been on my way. I would have been on my way, right? You know what I mean? And been like, hold on, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? So that is another thing. Now that's more on the extreme side, but that is another thing that can actually, like, I would have never thought in a million years that I would have had a situation where something like that happened, like in real time, where I was doing so much. Like, how can you, depends. What if the kid would have said something like about you? Like, how are you going to play? You're in the house with this kid by yourself. And so I had decided, nope, no way, Jose. I was not doing so. From that experience, I'm glad I actually had it because it taught me a lot and it taught me, nope. I am not doing me personally, me, myself, and I, like Beyonce said, it's all I got in the end, me, myself, and I am not, I have decided from that I will not do anybody's hair under 18 years old. They have to be legal for me to sit in my house because I'm not in a salon, I'm at home. To come here, you have to be 18 years old. And if there is someone like 16 or 17 or something like that, you have to be a really, really mature girl. And I still will have your parent checking in, or you need to come in here and sit with your child. You would need to be checking in and coming in video chatting, and it'll be a whole thing where that might just end up being too much for you and too much for me. But definitely for someone, the little bitty ones, 12, 13, 14, 15 year olds, no bueno. That for me, if for anybody else, that's fine. But for me to have that experience, like it just felt so crazy to me to have that happen. And I just would not, it was not a good feeling. Okay. And I wouldn't want that from for anybody else to experience that. And you're like kind of being like, thank God the child didn't like say exaggerate and say some stuff that actually didn't happen, but anything could happen in these days. Like with kids and adults, they can say anything, and guess what? Your behind will be in trouble over that. So to keep things safe, that was a one and done, honey. Like we got that done. I ended up talking to mom, and dad, we got that all squared away, honey. And I was like, know what? So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this one and just kind of put it out there to just see if you have. I want to know, please let me know, because I don't know any other people that are taking that have clients that are under 18, or do you know, are any of your children, do any of your children, nieces, cousins, friends, daughters, or whatever wear sister locks? What are their experiences and how have that gone? Because I don't know about that. That's just like a topic I haven't spoken about, or nobody has actually spoken about that. And I'm really, really curious about that. Like, what is your experience with younger sister lock wearers? And have you had a, was your experience okay? Was it good? Did you have any issues? Are there any stories that you can tell about that? I am really interested. Now, mine's now, I have three currently now, and I've been dealing with them now, I think, for definitely over a year for sure. I think my oldest one is like 2 years, and I have literally watched them grow. So the ones that I have, I really love these girls. I swear they feel like I feel like my nieces that have grown up, because they're a whole lot more responsible with their hair. They're wearing their bonnets, their hair is looking really good. They don't have like, no lint all, like, whatever. They making sure their hair is nice and washed. They're like, oh no, they're making their own appointments now, and just, paying and being like, here you go, let me look through my phone and see what I have. I'm like, oh my god, look at my little nieces growing up. So it's actually feels really great just to watch them expand and grow. So it's not to say that things can't change, because these young ladies that I deal with are very responsible young ladies. I think my youngest one is 16, 15. I think 15 or 16. I think she's 15 or 16. I can't remember if she turned 16 or not. But then the other two, one I think is 17 going on 18, and the other one is 18 going on 19, or they're like a year older. Like, so it's like that. But one's in college, so she's really, really responsible and doing well. And then the other one is under her, which is her sister. But they are doing fabulously well now. And then also, to the one that is the youngest one, she is really, really mature. Like, she is real mature for her age. And her mom, really, we have a great relationship where we check in with each other. So I just want to say that it doesn't mean that you can't come across some teenagers that are responsible and that can be great clients. But I would definitely put some things in place if you do choose to take on a client under 18 years old. Like, you really cannot overlook that. Like, it's serious. Like, you have to put stuff in place, and then just so that the loctician can understand what that will look like to take them on. They need to understand what they will have to deal with if they get this hairstyle. That is a serious hairstyle. It's not like a play little thing they could change up when they want to. That's not how sister locks work. So I would, if I was a parent before I allowed my child to get this hairstyle, I would really sit them down and let them understand the responsibilities of getting this hairstyle, how much this hairstyle costs, and the responsibility that they're going to have to take to keep this hairstyle up, because it's a challenge for the teenagers. Okay, it's a challenge until they get used to it. Even some adults sit here and have patient issues with sitting and being like, when I'm gonna be done, da, 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 da. So that, that even we struggle as adults. I even get tired of it. Even my retightness, I'd be like, shit, I'm gonna just do this part, and then I'm gonna wait, but because I do my own hair, I have that agency to do that. But hey, so imagine how they feel, and then parents, you too. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to come back in. I'm just trying to get myself back acclimated to being here, since there has been some changes. So my time has freed up I'm a little more flexible. I do still work like kind of things, but I get to work like based on my availability. So I try to work around that. And then I'm gonna try to make sure I definitely be putting this time in for you guys to come back on here and just be getting it done and talk about stuff. And like I said, if y'all, have anything that y'all want to know or questions, just let me know. But also, just as we're moving along, I really feel like I'm ready to transition this channel. I love hair and all that kind of stuff, and I always still do that. But like I said, I think that it would just really be good if I'm able to just do a lot more. Like I really, my goal is to vlog, guys. And I'm really thinking about retirement like in the next 5 years. But as I do that, I kind of just want to kind of have you guys grow with me, but evolve too, because there's things that I'm thinking about that is I've been even thinking about, traveling a lot and possibly even moving out of the country, right? In certain places. But I want to kind of I'll let that evolve as it goes along, but there is still things that I'm figuring out. So, and there'll just be more to share, more to do. There's so many things I do just throughout my day that because I enjoy watching the over 50 plus vlogs and watching the ladies. I'm very familiar with them, so I can still have hair stuff in there, but we'll just it'll just be nice to be able to do that. I feel like I'm feeling that strong. I've said that in some of the past stuff. You guys could, there's also some nice little perfumes I just got that I want to put y'all on as at Ulta. I just bought those because I'm getting ready to go on a vacation to see my daughter next month. So there's a couple of things that I got. I want to do hauls, like a couple of little, just things, not like whatever, but just through my daily life. And there are more to show. It won't just be here behind here. Y'all can be outside with me. We outside, and not all this and that, but just normally follow me through my day and seeing what I do. I think that will be a lot more fun. You can learn about a lot of more things that may be on sale or just things that places I might go to chill out where I get my little peace. I love the water. So there's like this nice little lake over here that I go to that I just be chilling at sometimes, or new food spots that I go, new little summer little cafes, little nice coffee places, just different little things that Miss Taylor does. Okay. And just want to bring you guys along with me on that journey. So I'm going to eventually travel that way, okay? Because that's just what my heart is feeling like. I just want to feel it. I love hair. I've been doing this for years. I'll continue to talk about it, but I'm ready to evolve into some other stuff. And hopefully, some of you guys, hopefully, all of you guys will kind of come and, over with me on this new journey. But hey, whoever is meant for is who it will be meant for. And then I plan on getting other little stuff. So I'll have other little things that I'm upgrading, but I'm trying to save the money for that, guys, because getting a new phone, my phone, this and this, between the whole thanks to the new subscribers. I got a few new subscribers that came in. So I want to thank you guys too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all of my new subscribers too. So I want to go ahead. Love to go on that journey with you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Because I feel like we will have it'll be fun. You know what I mean? Because it'll be so much more like because it's so much more because it is, guys, like I just got off the topic of what we was talking about. So this is just how I'm Caroline. This is how I know that I am ready to be on this new journey. And it's like because I just want to share like this other stuff. Like recently, even like watch me pack what's in my suitcase because I'm going to Florida to see my daughter, and like just the little things. Because listen, honey, I don't have like a whole big bunch of money that so I'm trying to put little outfits together. I can be like, hey y'all, give me some advice, what y'all think this look like. This is just really making it a lot more fun, taking y'all to the store with me to be like, hey y'all, this is what I'm looking at. But I really want to get my upgrades, one of which is this computer and this phone. Even though this is still a nice phone, but I ended up breaking my phone. I got some cracks here. And then because I have over 205 videos on here, when I started out, when I got this stuff, my computer and my phone, I had, because I think I got this phone in like 2023, because I just called them in. So this is the Ultra S22 Android, the Ultra S22. This had, I had so much space on this and this. And the thing is I wasn't doing YouTube videos at the time. Like I wasn't like doing it like how I'm doing it now. So I didn't need all the gigs and the data and whatever. I ended up getting the lowest package because I was just doing regular stuff, calls, emails, Zooms here and there or whatever. So I had so much space. But after putting over 200, like I'm thankful and grateful God, and I know God will provide. Okay. So I will get all the things that I need, but I still decided to continue to go with what I have. Okay. So it's not like, I'm still trying to keep the lights on, all this other kind of stuff. I still have enough to at least do this, but it's not like, that are monetized yet, or people are supporting the channel. So it's like I have to just do with what I have. Like, you know what I'm saying? The bills ain't cheap here. I still, it costs money, guys, to like even keep this stuff going, like even until you get monetized. I'm close. I feel like I think I got like 819 subscribers. If I was able to be consistent more and more and more, I'm sure that they could come, but I only could do what I can do in between the times that I have. So I've been working with that in between. So once that comes through, and it'll happen in its divine time, I'm not trying to rush it. I'm just going to work with what I have. And all I would say is that it gets greater later. So I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue. And I know that it all is going to work out. It is all going to work out the way that it is supposed to. I trust in God. I believe that anything that is meant for me, I'm going to have that. But it doesn't work with our time sometimes. It just has to work the way it is. I was able to still grow this many people with this phone and this computer. And I was still, and I think people are here just for the authentic message, right? I'm just being me. I don't got all the fancy stuff on. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like I don't like nice things or this and that or whatever, but I feel like with so much of the superficial stuff going on, it is refreshing and nice to be able to still deal with a channel and finding people that are just being themselves, right? So it's just like what you see is what you get, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, in order for us to even still bring this to you, we still need to be able to, when we post stuff, have you guys view it. Like, even if you're not, even some people was like, hey, even if you just turn it on, girl, wash your dishes, do something, whatever, that's a way of supporting, just long as, because we need the watch time. So you don't literally have to just sit there and watch it unless it's something that you will get for it, because I do always try to add value. So that's one thing that I will always do anyways, and just to connect to you guys. But you can just turn it on, honey, sometimes while you're cleaning up your house. And that's a way to help your sister. Like it, guys, put your likes up there and drop comments, when you drop comments too, that helps out the channel and whatever like that. So I appreciate and want to continuously thank all of my lock stars, all the people that have been with me from the beginning, all my OG lock stars, okay, that have been with me from the beginning. And then all of the new ones, the one who's are coming across my channel and subscribing, liking my content, because even with the lives, I'm doing a lot more lives because of the fact that I ran out of so much data and I got to get this money up. But like I said, God will provide and I will get that. And then the next one, I think I'm going to switch over to the iPhone 17 Pro Max or something like that. My daughter told me, come on over to the iPhone side. And I heard that it's nicer with videos, like the YouTube videos and all that other kind of stuff. So I'm going to try to do that. And then eventually, so my main two things, guys, what I want to do, and I know God's going to bless me with it, is to get my new phone and actually get me a new computer, because my computer's old. This is old. So that is with all of the stuff and with me putting all of this YouTube stuff on. Had I known that, I would have got the highest package of data had I known, but I didn't know. And I just started going, and then all of a sudden I started doing videos. I didn't even know it was going to happen like that, but here it is. This is how it happened. But I'm thankful and I'm grateful. I'm still thankful and grateful. So regardless of what happened, I'm okay with it, and whatever's meant to happen is going to happen, guys. I still enjoy coming on here. I enjoy doing this. I actually enjoy this, right? Because a lot of us are home. A lot of us are by ourselves. We're like YouTube families. Like y'all are like my friends in my mind. And some people have said the same with me. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate this community, guys. And then don't, and I can't tell people how to be like, oh, don't resist the change or whatever like that. Either you go follow it or you're not. I plan on doing over 50 content, okay? Because your girl is over 50, 56 to be exact. I'll be 57 in November, okay? And so my plan is to do that content, to focus on what we go through in our second season of life, because my life is different from what it was when I was younger. I never thought that I would be in this space, living the way I live, making the decisions that I made and what I'm making for my life. Things are just so different, and there's so many topics to talk about. I never thought that I would go out on my own and move to a state that I really didn't know no one like that, like leaving the old only home that I really, really knew. Like, I mean, I knew two places like Georgia and Boston. I originally was born in Georgia, but I left years ago. But I would go back and forth and all that kind of stuff. But still, between those two states, I was familiar, but to come to a whole completely new, that's different, y'all. And I don't know how many people have experienced it, although a lot have. And that's another thing too. I want to be able to say, hey, how many of you guys have relocated? Drop it in the comments. And if you've relocated, where did you leave from, and where did you go to, and how did you get? How did you deal with that journey? How long did you stay? Did you run back home? Not to say that that's a failure, because that's not a failure to do that. Like I would rather say start something. If you want to do something, if you feel like you want to do something in your life, especially now, because guess what, guys? I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's in the water or whatever's happening or whatever, but we are losing a lot of people. Me, myself, there are so many people that I know that done passed on. So many people, and it's just like crazy. It's ridiculous. And sorry, guys, for just totally going on to this whole different topic, but this is a part of me transitioning. Okay, we talked about what was important, but this is just where it is. Okay, we talk about something different now. Okay, I'm transitioning to vlog life, vlogging my life, guys. That's what I'm gonna eventually do. Okay, and I hope you guys will be on that journey. But yeah, so it's just like I said, I've lost a lot of people that I know, friends, family, just all kinds of stuff. So life is really different. And one message that I got, even from when I was working at the place, listen to the older people, and what they were saying to me, more mature people, what they were saying is, don't wait to live your life. Do it now. If it's something you want to do it now. Do not wait, because you know what? Before you know it, you're going to wake up and you're going to be older and you're going to wish that you did it. So if you want to go on that trip, if you want to go live somewhere else, if you want to do whatever, exactly. See, I was talking to an older guy who was telling me about he was teaching me how to do chess because I would always see him when I would go up there and he would be playing chess. And I was like, you know what? I always wanted to learn how to do chess. I was like, can you teach me? And he was like, yeah. So he was sitting down talking to me while we were playing chess. And then I was telling him all these things, you know, my ideas and snap. The guy, he was like about like 74. He was like, I'll be 75 this August or whatever. And I'm telling him, and I just like was saying all these things I wanted to do. He said, you know what? That's nice what you're saying. And I get and all this and that. Can I give you some advice? I was like, yeah. I said, absolutely. He was all like, do it now. Do not wait. He said, I don't care if you saying you ain't got enough money. I don't care if you saying you just now. Oh my God, I do not care. You live your life right now. He said, because your time is going to go faster than you realize. He said, I'm telling you, you're going to wake up and you're going to be older. And guess what? Your legs ain't gonna work like they usually do. Your body, all the traveling you want to do, all that kind of stuff. You better do that while you still good and mobile and can move around and do that stuff. Because when you get older, not that you can't do none of that, but it'll be harder for you to do that. More things come on you. You deal with more physical stuff. So I'm telling you right now, don't worry about what nobody else saying. Don't worry about nobody else's opinions about what you doing, what they saying. Who cares what do what makes you happy. And that is my advice to you. Do what makes you happy. I'm telling you, do it now. Don't wait. And I was like, and it was funny when he said it because I was like, oh my God. I had just was saying, oh man, now that I'm not at the place, my money kind of dipped a little bit. So I was gonna cancel the trip with my daughter. And I was sitting back, I was getting ready to cancel this trip. And I was like, Dad, I won't be able to see her till like the end of the year or something like that. I was like, see that is so good, Carolyn. That is good. That is good. I said, wait a minute. I was literally getting ready. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to call my daughter and tell her I can't come because and then I'm telling you, his voice popped right into my head. And then so did other women, like older women was telling me, like they would just say stuff, they'd be like, honey, you better do that now. Nope, you better do that right now. You where you wanna go? Go to it. Go do it. I'm telling you, do it now. Do it now. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm going on that trip. I was like, I will make this stuff up later, but I'm going on that trip. And I just was like, I went, bought my ticket this night. I was like, I'll be damned if I'm gonna be waiting. I said, no, I'm gonna spend this time with my daughter. I'm gonna spend that time with my daughter. I am not waiting because tomorrow ain't promised to nobody. You sitting here, you know, it ain't even promised that I'm gonna make it the next month, but promise tomorrow is not promised to anybody. But you go ahead and stop doing that. And so I was like, from here on, there's things that I want to do. There's places that I want to do. I want to actually live in different countries. Like there's a lot of expats going, and that's another thing. I was talking to those a lot of the older people there. They were saying they wanted to go over to Thailand, Vietnam, because I was telling them that too, because I follow some YouTubers and I've been reaching out, like seeing what the process is and all that kind of stuff. I'm going over there to visit a couple of times first, but I want to have an experience of even living out in Thailand. There is a whole huge African American expat group out there. They got a lot of different things out there. I've been watching YouTubers, and you know what? That's what I want to do. And that's something that I've been thinking about for a very long time. This is not even something recent. This is something that's been on my mind, been calling me to kind of like just, you know, kind of go international. I started with Jamaica, had a beautiful, like my 50th birthday in Jamaica was just amazing. Like, I mean, when I say amazing, my daughter and my friend did a amazing job on that trip. And I have the book. I have actually like a book of the pictures and stuff like that. And then I'll wait to one of my lives to show y'all when I was in Jamaica. We went to the Bob Marley 9 Mile tour. You know, we went all around to, we told the Jamaican guy that we had hired a guy that was a native. He had his little business, put a little money, support the black business, put some money in his pocket instead of some tourist stuff. And we told him, we want to go to where you go to eat. That's what I told him. He said, "We all want to go to eat." I said, "We all want to go. We'll do a little bit to ourselves, but no, we want to go where you eat." And you know, we didn't have no bad food, Jamaican food. We don't eat real Jamaican food here. Just to let y'all know, I don't know what they giving us here, but you got to go to Jamaica to get the real Jamaican food. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That food was delicious. We was like, oh my god. So so there are just so many different things that I, have planned that I want to do that I'm trying to go ahead and execute. So, guys, like I said, just follow me on this journey. Follow me on my journey, guys. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I keep on coming back. Like I said, I'll always come back to the family, y'all. And just know sometimes too, when it be like that, I don't want to be like that, like though, like to be where, jumping in and out. But when you're doing it by yourself, when you're doing it by yourself, that's kind of what happens when you got to work two and three jobs to keep everything paid. When you gotta, you just gotta do the best that you can. You got your old little janky stuff you got, But I'm still thankful for it because this phone, even my old computer, still making it happen. It allowed me to come in here and still have you here. So I'm blessed. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. Okay, I'm thankful for what I have, and I know that God will provide. Right. And I'm still doing good, guys, with my little non-drinking. This is how I trick myself. This is Saratoga water, guys. If you haven't heard of Saratoga, see, that's another thing. I want to put y'all onto this Saratoga water, and I got like some sweet dark cherries, and I put it in a nice flute. Guess what? I had a Miss and Mr. flute, right? I had this for a couple of years, child, saying, I'm gonna wait until my wedding day and pull out these flutes, baby, and then have a drink. I said, you know what? You gonna pull this out now. What is you waiting for, girl? You gonna use that now. So honey, I was all like, I have started, and that's a new belief. All the stuff I have, like nice dishes, whatever dishes I have, that's nice. Whatever. So guess what? I'm eating off of that using my little fancy teacups in here. Stop playing. That is what I'm challenging everybody to do. And I already know, Carolyn, you already know this. I'm just catching up. I'm just catching up. The little grasshopper is just Carolyn, this little grasshopper is just catching up, but I'm learning some stuff. I'm really I'm learning that use your stuff now. Don't wait for none of that. Use this. Whatever you're trying to do it now. That's the message that I got. Not like a big hurry or just don't get all desperate and frantic and um I uh-huh. Yeah, okay, yeah, don't wait. It just hit me. Like I was the other day, I was like, I want like a nice because I've been breaking over the time. I've been breaking the ones that I had earlier, but this was one of the ones because it says Miss on it, and then I have the other one says Mister, and I had it in my mind. Oh, this is gonna be something that I can say. I brought this some years ago, and you know what? I saved this for my wedding day. Da, 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 like, and then I happened to go in my closet and see it there. Like I was like, I had this hidden away up here for years, talking about when my wedding day. I was like, girl, you drinking out of that now. You married to God, girl. Okay. I'm like, honey, I'm married to Jesus Christ. Okay. So I'm married to the universe, baby. So that is my mister right there. So I'm gonna use that now. And that is the way I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh no, it's like a light bulb went off. I'm like, girl, do what how you want to do it. Like forget about like because I was worried about if I change things, no, this is my channel and this is how I'm feeling and this is what I want to do. And then y'all are gonna be just surprised. Like we're just gonna go on this journey together, and whoever is meant to be here will be here. I'm so glad with the different diversity of people too. I love the mixture of like the ages. I don't really get garner too many young people, which which is absolutely fine. But like my age up, probably between 30s up to 60, 70, whatever, it is all good with me, honey, because all of that is wisdom and knowledge. And one thing that I always did was give due respect to my elders, honey. I was raised that way, and I will always be that way and will stay that way, because guess what? I'm going to be that way too. I'm going that way too. And I want to be able to have that respect, just as what you put out is what you're going to get back anyways. So that's my thing. So I'm happy. I'm feeling good, guys. I'm just trying to stay in good spirits and just know that everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. It's going to be all right. And yeah, so that's pretty much I didn't even know I was going to end up talking about this other part of like, living life and just doing, be in the now, be more present, stop thinking about the past, get yourself out the past, stop thinking about like the future so much and just be more in the present. That's what I'm learning how to do, is just to really, really be more present with myself and then just trust that everything is going to be okay. Because sometimes I have my moments when unexpected things happen. You can get, we all know how that can feel, like very kind of unpredictable, or just not sure like what will happen. But one thing my grandmother taught me was like, I do not care, no matter what. Sometimes you're not going to know where you're going to get things from, what's going to happen, all these other kind of things. But if you've gotten this far, you have not got this far alone, and things are working out in the background for you that you don't even know about. You might know some of the things that's going to happen to you now, but you don't know the other things that are coming your way. And then a lot of times that have happened to me, where out the blue, hey, could I do you have any time to do my hair? Just out the blue, just a couple of people that are not even my clients that, I'm able to get extra stuff, or like something comes along, or people offer something. It could be time or encouragement, because it doesn't always have to be money monetary, but it could be anything, time, or just anything. And sometimes I've gotten to the point I'll volunteer, like when I get in a way where things are not working so great for me, I'll start doing stuff and helping other people. I'll go into service and volunteer. I was just at the food pantry yesterday serving. Went there for half a day, and it was great to be able to serve others. That And it lets you know also too that even though you might think you're dealing with some stuff, there's always someone who's in a worse situation than you are. So it really made me feel good to be in service like that, and then to know that, some things ain't exactly where you want them to be, but you're doing okay. You're doing better than a lot of people that's right in your current state or where you at. So, yeah. So that's that. Um, it is an hour and 12 minutes. I want to thank you two for allowing me to get back on here. And what I'm going to do in the meantime, guys, I definitely wanted to come here and do this live because starting tomorrow, I am going to be busy Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I work tomorrow, but I have also a different work, two clients on Saturday and Sunday. So I may not do my Sunday live like usual. It depends. I'm not for sure. It depends on how I feel and what I may have going on Monday. If I have something to do on Monday, work or whatever. If not, I may chime in with something really kind of quick, depending on what type of topic we might be talking about. And then I may just kind of come in here and start incorporating some vlog stuff, y'all. I may do that. As far as videos, I probably won't be able to do all that until I get a new phone. And it'll be little things because I have to erase so much just to even put up the little stuff that I did put up. I had to erase so much just to do that. So I want to start actually putting back more videos out. I'll still come on lives and stuff. I still want to do that and connect with you guys. But at the same time, I also want to, especially once I start doing vlogs, I want to like do videos, put videos up. I miss editing. I actually enjoy editing too. And the only way you get better at that is to continue to practice to do that. Okay. So, like I said, just hanging out with me, guys. It will get greater later. I promise you, things will change, and this is going to evolve. Like, it's high time that the channel evolve, because I want to make it more lively. Not just not to be myself, but I just want to do, this is what I feel. This is what I want to do. So, yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I do have to. It is 8:47 now. I do have to get up and go to work in the wee hours of the morning. Okay, so I don't have a um this is not a what I'll say is I do have something to do in the morning, because it's not permanent. You know what I mean? So I don't actually have a permanent job, but it is something that I'm able to do sometimes when it's available. So that's another thing. So I don't have a permanent situation going on. That's what allows me to free up my time. But from time to time, I'm blessed when something comes through. But anyways, that is it, guys. Thank you for the ones who did show up. Whoever showed up is who was supposed to show up. Whoever popped in and popped out, that is okay. Usually I don't do a Thursday, but I'm glad that I did catch you, especially you, Carolyn Shepherd. Thank you so much for showing up. I always count on you to be here. So that is so good. So I'm giving some hearts and love out to you. And thank you. And I'm sending love to my Lockstar family, guys. Okay. I love you guys. Never forget about you guys. Yeah, I do appreciate you being here, Carolyn. I really do. I'll be looking forward to seeing your name. Thanks for the hearts. Thanks for the hearts. Yeah, so hearts back to you, because I do appreciate you. Like, you always are consistent with showing up, and I appreciate that. And I think it's just kind of like the authenticity, or whatever. Like I said, all I can do is just be myself. You know what I'm saying? And I'll definitely let you guys know the trip. Hopefully, that'll be another plan too, to record something with my trip to Orlando next month. So that's going to be like the second week in June. But we're gonna, supposed to do a couple little fun things. So I'm gonna try to see if I can kind of prepare this computer and the phone, like whether I have to really go through. I'm gonna have my daughter try to see if she can work with me or talk to somebody or somehow to clean up a lot of this data, because it's just that I have to clean up a lot of old stuff, and I just need someone that really knows what they're doing to help me do that. So I got to clean up my phone, do that, and then just be trying to do a little at a time. Check in, but what I will be doing is posting in my YouTube post area, like in it, like where I've been like kind of posting lately. I put like a summer spritz recipe in there. I like just been saying a couple of things, happy Mother's Day, put little pictures in there, whatever. And if you guys, like, if something comes up, just you could throw something in there too, like, hey, happy Mother's Day, hey Faye, how you doing, whatever. So I'm gonna try to do more of that, because that's something that I can easily do. Is definitely just like drop little things in the post, maybe a question of the day too, or articles that I find, or just different things. Or if things come up, I'll just say to y'all, like, happy Valentine's Day, whatever. I'll be posting in there. So, and then if I'm gonna be doing like a live later or whatever, I'm gonna try to post things in there too, like to make you guys aware, and maybe start using more of coming up live things just to see how that works out. But just know, if things get a little janky, you know what's going on with my situation. And two, I get the new stuff, guys. So that is coming, but all that just costs money. I don't have $2,000, $3,000 just hanging around. I just don't, you know what I mean? And until this channel get monetized, guys. So like, share, and subscribe if you like what I'm saying here. If you like just dealing with someone who is real and who is not just doing a whole bunch of superficial stuff, that's just keeping it 100 and showing you my life, transitioning with you guys and enjoy somebody that just really loves doing what they do. If you like that, and you want to learn about hair, all kind of stuff about that as well, because I do have a wealth of information here for that. Then subscribe to the family. Come over to the Lockstar family. I would love to have you here with us and joining in with us. And believe me, I appreciate all of the dedication of all of the ones who have been sticking in here and all of the ones who are coming in to the family. Okay. So I really love you guys. I will be checking in again. Sharon is caring, as I always say. And just make sure you're looking in the post areas, okay? Because I'll just be posting little things there, little helpful things like, just helpful things there, and just to say hey to you guys, okay? So again, Carolyn, mwah, thank you so much for always being here. As always, I appreciate you, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this live here, and I will catch you all in the next one. Toodles. Let me put. Oh, cha. You faster than me. Okay.